All right, so we're back with day 28, I believe, of this little series that we got going on. Today's subject was Mr. Ganondorf. Originally, I was thinking of doing another character, or at least doing it at like a different scale, different kind of feeling. But then I was like, I don't really have the time, so I'll just do a little bit of Ganon. As you can see here, I was kind of struggling with that like imposing feeling that he has. Because I think posing because I think anatomy is overhyped with how difficult it is. I think it's one of those like very much more of like a beginner skill. It's something you obviously refine. It's obviously something I'm not amazing at, but it's one of those things where it's like you're gonna get better at it. Posing is one of those things that's it takes a lot more conscious effort, right? Like I can pretty easily put together a piece like that's anatomically correct, right? Like the things will look about as good as the things should. Like it's not like that crazy. However, when it comes to something like um something like posing where it's like how do you convey emotion through the way they're standing, like how do you portray Ganondorf's like confidence in himself, because I think that's the one thing that Ganon always like I guess exudes. I feel like he always exudes this feeling that he knows he's going to win this fight, and it's a feeling that um I think I generally came across with it. Like I can't imagine Ganon as somebody that would walk into a fight with a frown on his face. I think of him as very much somebody that smiles at the thought of violence. And so yeah, I did kind of mix up the designs here. Though like the outfit was a little more designed after more of his Smash Bros appearance. The head was designed after I believe it's his appearance in Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know, haven't played the game, so I can tell I couldn't tell you. Um, Generally, I kind of wish I put the Triforce, like the actual symbol, a little higher on his arm. But what are you gonna do? I do think the facial structure and the anatomy that was very stellar in this. I think that generally that improved a lot in this drawing, along with more general anatomy and posing. Like if this was like a sketchbook kind of pose, I think that would have very much like it would have I would have been fine with it, right? Um, but of course, that's not the point of the series. Here we make completed drawings every single day. Some of the times when I remember to. I definitely just hit my desk and that definitely messed up the audio. But we don't re-record here. Um, yeah. So again, I tried to use his Smash Bros appearance, just because that's where I know him best. If I'm being 100% honest, at least in like the Ganon form. Um, at least like in that like human esque. Because I haven't played. Well, I haven't completed um whatever Link to the Past. No, not Link to the Past. What is it? Ocarina of Time. I haven't completed that. And like a couple of the other games where like you would expect him to appear. In that more human esque form. Like I always kind of see him as more of a pig monster. And because the my favorite Zelda game is A Link Between Worlds, and he isn't super in that game. Like he's not very in it. So which shuts out that game. It's a great game, and I don't know. I don't think it gets the respect it deserves. Um, my favorite game that like has the Zelda on it is probably Breath of the Wild. And I just don't think I can't consider it like a Zelda game in a sense. Um, because 7 years ago when it came out, when I bought it on my Switch, I played it on like a road trip, and when I was in um, I was visiting family, and I loved it, but it didn't like it when I went back and played like a normal Zelda game, which was Link to the Past. It doesn't feel correct. It's a very hard like thing to describe, but it just doesn't feel the same because a Link Between Worlds has these big sprawling dungeons where there's like a couple like maybe one maybe two ways through, right? Um, but something like Breath of the Wild, the whole point is that you come up with solutions, you figure out puzzles, and that the reward is the exploring itself. It's very rarely like you were very rarely rewarded with something super cool because you explored. It's more the like the fun part was exploring, right? Like, and you come in with kind of the expectation of that, and so I think it creates kind of an odd feeling. Um, but yeah, no. So that's more of just kind of a tangent about my opinions on Link Between Worlds and stuff. That thing again, I think in terms of like being a Zelda game, I think Link Between Worlds is best, but Breath of the Wild is like my favorite one with the title. I was gonna play I was gonna play Tears of the Kingdom, but my Switch is the original one that came out on release, and it's been through a bit. It's a fighter. It's so I wasn't 100% sure, and by the time I was like, maybe I'll buy it, I was like, it's $70 for a game that I might not play that much. So just because life and stuff. Tell you what. I will say the one thing I kind of forgot that I was drawing here is I kind of Loki kind of drew him like a man whore, in the nicest way possible. I mean, this is a this is like a very because the point is that he's kind of like the point is that his upper armor has kind of been shedded off in battle, and I do kind of wish I conveyed that a little bit better. But like the this feeling of I don't know, just like something about the actual armor that he's wearing just feels very like I don't know, it just feels very promiscuous, I guess. But shouts out Ganon, he looks odd, so it's fine. That's how that works, by the way. But yeah, so I didn't. Again, I think I chose a good shade of green, good shade of red, good shade of brown. Just all these things. I think not only are they like accurate to the costume, but it's also just like one of those things where it also just looks good. Because sometimes you can be accurate to a costume, but because of like my art style or because of this, that, or another, it doesn't like look quite right. And so I do typically try to avoid that problem when I can. Um, I did try to focus up a little bit more here on lighting, but eh. Um, Again, I the main reason why I didn't like have that upper armor on him wasn't because it was like an artistic thing. It was more of just like I didn't really feel like drawing it. If I'm being 100% honest, it's very detailed, and I don't know. I knew I was gonna be drawing for about an hour today, so I was like, that's more of a kind of endeavor that I would do when I have more time. So, yeah. Again, I do think this came out generally very well. Um, Again, the cape is just kind of because I wanted to. I couldn't really fill the image up with more. I do think I wish I had like kind of curved the sword out or like repositioned his hand to where you could see more of the sword. Or maybe changed its color, just something like that to where it like feels a little more prominent in the final image. But that's one of those things where it's again posing crazy because I wanted to because I was thinking of doing like a shoulder on the back thing, but I was like I already did that with the Artorias, so I kind of wanted to switch up the posing. Though yeah, I am kind of wishing that maybe I did like a spear or something that he would be placing beside him, and then there's like maybe like a like that kind of feeling. I think that could have also worked. But yeah, no. Again, I think this Ganon looks devious. Dude looks ready to fight. I think I got the size of his schnoz, because I don't know if you ever like if you look at like a face on shot of Ganon, the dude's schnoz is massive. I mean, he's got a sniffer on him, so it just I really had to make sure that I got the size of it correct, because that's a big problem I have. I kind of draw like the same nose and the same face, and I think that's why it feels very samey with some of my art. And so it's nice to have it change. I did try to add some yellow hints to the rest of the image, just to kind of try to, um, just change up what it looks like. I did end up going with a bit of a lighter purple for the sword color, because I was gonna go with a darker purple, but I was like, this contrasts too much the red in the background. So, also, no clue why that was like segmented in the back. That was weird. But again, I think this was a good background color because while I could have chosen something that maybe had a little more contrast, I think the red contrasts well enough with his green. What I do kind of wish I did is I wish I shaded the cape into the background, giving it more of that tattered look. I think that would have helped with the this idea of him coming like from a battle. And then I was playing around with the actual effect for the Triforce, because that's kind of his insignia. And I did end up sizing it up in a new layer, which also hides the fact that I can't draw hands very well. Again, I do kind of wish I had made the other ends of the picture a little darker. I think that would have helped make the Triforce feel more prominent and used different shades of green on the back. I think that would have helped like it feel like there is like that's like the real light source in this. But again, I really like the shade of purple I used for the background. So pros and cons, pros and cons. But yeah, no, so this is definitely a fun one to draw. And so I again the process was fun, just it was all kind of very interesting and fun. And you can see here I'm trying to darken it up a little bit more to add a little more contrast, but I don't think I went far enough with it. Regardless, though, thank you for watching. It's super fun to draw. I'll probably upload another one tomorrow, if not, definitely the next day. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, tell me whatever you want me to draw, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.